All right, lift off and the clock has started.
Hey everyone, tomdune here and welcome back to UK Space News. Now, for my regular followers, I appreciate it's been a few weeks since my last update, but for a very good reason, because I've been working on my first deep dive video, where I explored Rolls-Royce's development of nuclear spaceflight technologies. So, if you've not seen it already, please do go and check it out and let me know what you think, because I think it's a really fascinating topic and I'm pretty pleased with the way that turned out. But, on to the latest space news. And this past week has been an incredible week for all of us spaceflight fans, but I'm going to start with the big news from the UK. And that, of course, came on the 16th of November. What an incredible day that was. From the Civil Aviation Authority, who announced that Spaceport Cornwall has finally been granted an operator's licence, which means that Virgin Orbit can start preparing for that all-important first launch of a rocket from UK mainland soil. A few weeks prior to that, the Marine authorities granted Virgin Orbit an operator's licence, and altogether these relevant authorities are pretty content with the risk assessments carried out, and they're happy for launch operations to begin in earnest. Now, over the next few weeks we can expect to see Virgin Orbit really ramping up their testing, including full wet dress rehearsals ahead of the first launch of Launcher 1 carrying those satellites. Can't understress the importance of this launch to the UK, and a massive congratulations to all the teams involved. But it has been a wee while since my last update, and in that last update I did mention that the CAA were getting pretty close to the regulatory approval. So why the delay? It's almost like they were waiting for something else to happen, maybe to take the limelight off of something. And funnily enough, as I previously mentioned, on the 16th of November, an incredible day all round, and that included NASA finally launching Artemis 1 into space. After years spent in development hell and months of delays caused by the weather and hydrogen leaks, we finally got to see the incredible sight, and with all the footage coming out of the SLS launching skywards. Amazing footage that was captured all round, and I do hope you were up and watching it live like I was. But why am I mentioning Artemis? It's a NASA project after all. Well, actually not. It's more of a worldwide project. You see, years ago, NASA realised that with the scope and scale of the Artemis program as a whole, they couldn't go it alone. So not only did they contract in private companies, but they also had international partners come on board to assist. And in 2020, NASA, ESA, JAXA and the UK Space Agency, among others, came together to sign the Artemis Accords. That might sound like something from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the Artemis Accords, basically, they're a shared understanding of safe operations, use of space resources, and minimizing space debris and sharing scientific data. It's a set of principles that determine how these agencies work together and operate together in space. But the UK has an important part to play in the Artemis program as a whole. So let's look at some of these different things that the UK are involved with. And we start, of course, right here with Artemis 1. We can't forget to mention all the scientists and the engineers who have been working for NASA and all the other partner agencies, building this thing and putting it into space. Not only that, but Goonhilly Tracking Station, located down in Cornwall, plays a huge part. Going back to the days of Apollo, Goonhilly is part of NASA's worldwide tracking network, used to track the rockets as they go around the Earth. And of course, as Artemis 1 completed the first translunar injection of a human-rated spacecraft in nearly 50 years. So it's an amazing thing to think that right here in the UK, there's at least people responsible for helping NASA to track this important milestone spacecraft. But looking forward to the rest of the Artemis program, as we know, it comprises of lots of different hardware, not just the SLS and Orion spacecraft and the Human Landing System, but we also have the Lunar Gateway and the various satellites and other spacecraft that are going to be supporting future Artemis missions. So starting with those spacecrafts, we must talk about Surrey Satellite Technologies Limited, who are building the Lunar Pathfinder. Lunar Pathfinder is going to serve as not only a communications network between Earth, the Gateway and the Moon, but it's also going to provide lunar navigation services to the astronauts working on the lunar surface. Speaking of the Lunar Gateway, UK companies are directly involved in the building of it. And specifically, the UK Space Agency have joined up with the European Space Agency to provide different modules on the Lunar Gateway, including the Esprit module. Thales Alenia Space UK Limited, the UK subsidiary of Thales Alenia, they are building the refueling part of that module, which is going to be crucial for refueling spacecraft as they arrive from Earth and allow them to return with astronauts once the lunar missions have been completed. The Imperial College of London is providing a magnetometer for the Lunar Gateway as part of the European Radiation Sensor Array. MDA Space and Robotics UK Limited, or MDA UK, a subsidiary of MDA, they are providing lunar landing sensors for the first commercial payload lander from US-based company Intuitive Machines. Now, NASA have obviously contracted various different private companies here to provide commercial payload landers, and MDA are going to be providing the sensors for that. And of course, MDA, the parent company, are most well known for providing the Canada arm on the space shuttle. Not only that, but the Open University are providing an ion trap mass spectrometer for the Prospect project, which will be part of US company Astrobotic's upcoming lunar lander when it launches on a ULA Vulcan Centaur in early 2023. And that mass spectrometer is going to allow for scientific study of the thin atmosphere around the Moon. So, as you can see there, lots of different companies are going to be involved in the whole Artemis program going ahead. And in other news, Astroscale continue to make headlines for their space cleanup operations ideas. They actually won an award for sustainability in space earlier this month, and their LCD platform continues to make headlines. Now, Astroscale had a relatively successful 2021 and 2022 with their LCD servicing satellite. LCD was put into space in 2021 with a client satellite, and it's used to demonstrate various cleanup operations, including magnetic retrieval of said satellite, reorientation, and finding one when it's lost, before successfully deorbiting or putting it back into a serviceable orbit. Now, space debris is a huge problem. As we know, there are millions and millions of pieces of junk up there. NASA are able to track several thousand of these pieces of junk, as well as the many thousands of satellites that are going up. In fact, the American Federal Aviation Authority are sitting on thousands of applications for new satellites right now. So Astroscale's plans for the future are really important, and in fact it forms part of the UK government's whole approach to space, because I've talked about sustainability in space already, but that really is the driving factor here, and I think that companies based in the UK are really looking to get ahead of anyone else in the world currently looking at space cleanup operations. So well done to Astroscale, and I can't wait to see what more you have in store for us as we go into next year. And that just about does it for me for this update. What an absolutely amazing week it's been. We really have been spoiled for choice. Now, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help this channel out, and I appreciate it every single time. We really are just getting started out here at UK Space News, and I've already seen how fast that we are growing based on all the comments and the likes so far. So speaking of comments, if you do want to get in touch, drop a comment below or hit me up at one of the links in the description. Till next time, I've been Tom Dune. Thanks for watching.